All right, this unit, we're going to be working on using quotes in writing. And one of the first things you need to be able to do is differentiate, so tell the difference between paraphrasing and using direct quotes. So when you paraphrase something, you put it in your own words. A paraphrase does not match the source word for word, and it puts a passage into your own words. It changes the words or phrasing of a passage, but keeps the meaning. And I'm also going to show you, it really changes the words or phrasing of a passage a lot. If you're only just changing one word or one phrase, you're really quoting. When you quote, you match the source exactly word for word. If you need to change something, there are some conventions for that I'll teach you, but you should copy exactly. Usually it is a short section of the text. So probably one sentence at most, and not a very long sentence. If you find yourself using a really long sentence or more than that, you should be thinking about, okay, how can I put this in my own words and only use the part that I really want exactly. Also, it must be put between quotation marks, like that, and we will work on that in a different assignment. So here's an example. Racial injustice and police brutality have been front and center in the nationwide discussion about our legal system. Racism infects all aspects of that system. It is important to shine a light on one problem, the jury box. Those who sit on juries are rarely a true cross-section of the community. All right, so for an example, a paraphrase of this, first sentence here, would look like, racism and police brutality have been the focus of our concerns about the U.S.'s legal system. Right? It's changed the wording here a lot. It does say racism and it does say police brutality, but none of the rest of this really repeats any of that. A quote would be the exact thing, which I would put in quotation marks. Racial injustice and police brutality have been front and center in the nationwide discussion about our legal system. Another example of a paraphrase of this here, so looking at this sentence, juries are not usually representative of the people living in a community. That's a paraphrase. This quote, the people who sit on juries are rarely a true cross-section of the community. So you can see how this really says the same meaning, but uses different words. It uses representative rather than true cross-section. It does use community both times, but it's okay if a word or two repeat. It's changing most of the words. One example I want to give you over here. You've got this as the original text. There are men who killed nobody, but have been sentenced to die in prison. Men who never fired a shot or held a weapon. They may not even have been in the same room as the killing or know anything about it. So you're going to decide, is each of these statements a paraphrase or a quote of the text? This one says, these men have been sentenced to death even though they didn't actually kill anyone. That has the same meaning as this sentence, but it's very different, right? The words have been changed a lot, so this is going to be a paraphrase. Also, we've got here, they may not have even been in the same room as the killing or known anything about it. That is exactly the same as this sentence here, so that's a quote. Here, maybe they weren't even, that's a mistake. Maybe they weren't even in the same room as the killing or known anything about it. So that here, the same room as the killing or known anything about it, that's really repeating the exact words. This says maybe instead of may not, but it's not enough to say this is a paraphrase. This is not a paraphrase. This is a quote. And if I wanted to use this, what I would really do is I'd put quotation marks around the piece that was actually a direct copy. So in order to make it a paraphrase, it really has to change a lot of the wording, okay? So with those examples, go ahead and try to finish the rest of the assignment.